Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevating Your Life. I am just thrilled to be sitting here sharing a screen with just an amazing guest that I'm happy to share with you today. We have with us Michael Levine. He is an American writer and public relations expert. He is author of 19 books. He has represented 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, and 43 New York Times bestsellers, including Michael Jackson, Barbra Streisand, George Carlin, among many others. And Michael has also appeared in POM Wonderful Presents The Greatest Movie Ever Sold, the 2011 documentary by Morgan Spurlock. He has provided commentary, including Variety, Forbes, Fox News, the New York Times, and the USA Today. He has been referred to in different publications as the Michael Jordan of entertainment PR. Michael has spoken at Oxford, UCLA, and Harvard University. And Wall Street Journal has said he is among America's premier branding and PR firms. Wow, way to go, Michael.
Thank you, Paula. What an honor to be here with you and share your valuable audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just thrilled to share you with my beautiful audience. Well, you have done so much. Something that I absolutely love is that you are such a fan and, do so much for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And that's something very passionate to me with having been a restaurant owner and that sort of thing. I would love to have you share some information and thoughts on being an entrepreneur, especially, these days and, paths people can take.
Well, Paula, you really have raised one of my favorite subjects, and that is the journey of the entrepreneur. We're going through a time in America in which things are very, very difficult and upside down. This is a very, very difficult phase. And when I think about the future of the country, one of the areas that gives me optimism is the attraction that many people, including young people, are having to the entrepreneurial journey. I think that shows like Shark Tank have done just an outstanding job at awakening in people the idea of the entrepreneur life, the entrepreneur journey as a viable and meaningful one for many. And it's the hope of our country. Maybe it's the hope of our world. First of all, entrepreneurship teaches you a profound lesson in personal responsibility, teaches you a great deal about business and finance and money and economies. And it's a real educational laboratory for many of the big topics of life. And of course, it points you away from what I think to be probably the most destructive urge that young people, Americans, and many young people are going in the direction of, which is that of victimhood. So many of our friends, our younger friends, our minority friends, even, I'm sorry to say, our older friends, have been sold a bill of goods by a bunch of hustlers that have attracted many to this idea that their lives are not their own destiny, that they are victims. They are victims of an evil country, an evil society, a racist, a homophobic, a misogynist, a all these things. Now, this is nonsense. And thinking of yourself as a victim is a almost surefire path to poverty, exhaustion, and resentment. And so all of our friends, all of our young friends today who have seemed to have bought this nonsense hook, line, and sinker, that they're a victim, that women are a victim, that minorities are a victim, that blacks are a victim, that Hispanics are a victim, that Jews are a victim. Everybody's a victim. It's almost like we're in a American Idol competition for who can be the biggest victim. And it's horrible. It's a path to poverty. It's a path to exhaustion. It's a path to frustration. And entrepreneurship says you're not a victim. You may not be successful, but you have the opportunity to be successful. Now, the costs are high, lots and lots and lots of hard work. And hard work does not mean a 40-hour week. It doesn't mean a 50-hour week. It doesn't even mean a 60-hour week. It means a tremendous effort and devotion, particularly in the beginning. But I believe that entrepreneurship is the hope of our country, the hope of humanity, in many ways.
Yes, yes. And I've always believed entrepreneurship, that is something that can be unique and a gift to each one of us. When we make that step and make that commitment, you're right, it can be years of hard work, years of, just taking the steps. But it can be done. It can be a success. It's a beautiful opportunity.
Well, it is. And this country, America, for all its flaws, has given more people more opportunity than any civilization ever created in the history of humanity. Now, I know that some of my friends may not like that. They're too invested in this logic that says we're bad. But the reality is the reality. No country, none, from dinosaurs to today, has ever given more people more opportunities. Women, blacks, Hispanics, minorities, transgender. If we give people opportunity. Now, what they choose to do with it or not do with it becomes up to them. But the opportunity is very vivid.
So do you have some advice for those out there that are passionate about being an entrepreneur and creating a successful business and brand?
I do. Start all journeys with learning. Learning. So if I were talking today to a young person who said, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'd say, wonderful. What book have you read in the last 6 months on entrepreneurship? And if they said none, I'd say, who sold you on that plan? Learn, read, explore, develop mentorships, develop coaches, develop consultants. If there is a young person watching this show right now, or a parent of a young person watching this show right now, and that young person does not have a mentor, I'm concerned about that. And so it's very important to learn. We start by learning, by reading, by YouTube watching, there are many communities you can join that are entrepreneurial in nature. You should certainly be watching Shark Tank. I have just started, Paula, a new enterprise that I'm going to reveal to your audience today. It's called Michael Levine Consulting. And Michael Levine Consulting is a service that I offer to coach and guide and encourage people on their entrepreneurial journey or on their life journey. And it's all done by Zoom, so you can live any place in the country. I meet with people for a half hour once a month, and then we do some follow-up phone calls. And the idea is accountability and goal setting and time management. Getting someone started is the key.
Yes. Oh, that is so fantastic. Oh my gosh. So they can just connect with you on your website
Sure, they sure
and
can.
share that with everyone, please.
Michael Levine Consulting is where you start. That's get a little information. But you can contact me there. I'm happy to set up a free Zoom call for a few minutes to talk about your dreams and your hopes and your goals and where you're stuck. That's an important piece to the story, isn't it? Where are you stuck? So anyway, that entrepreneurship is a big passion of mine. So thank you for letting me share.
So welcome. And yeah, it is of mine too. Wow. That is so fantastic. That will do so much for so many, Mike.
It sure can. And by the way, it's not for everyone, but for those who it is for, it offers an opportunity that is really remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's something I would like to mention to your listeners. Here's something I'd like you to consider. Okay, would you write this down if you'd be kind enough? Dear friends, profits are better than wages. Profits are better than wages. Just write that down, friends. The people in this world who you know who have become financially affluent and prosperous did not become that way from wages. They did it through profits. The people who are impoverished in this country didn't do it through profits. They did it through wages. Profits are better than wages.
Wow. I love it. And something you've talked about is the journey of an underdog.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, let's start. Let's start with I was an underdog. I was born into a home in New York City. I was born 2.5 miles north of Ground Zero. I'm one of the very, very, very few Americans alive today that had the distinction of watching the World Trade Center be built twice. And I grew up in a very unfortunate home. There was alcoholism in my home, and anyone who's ever been raised in an alcoholic home knows that you basically have to raise yourself. And then I had a disability, which was not very well known at the time. It's much better known today, called dyslexia. Now, dyslexia is pretty well known today, but 40, 50 years ago, we had another word for it. It was called dumb. And so I barely graduated high school. I left the house at age 17, right? So now I'm 17 years old. I've got no job, no money, no education, no parenting. I'm scared, I'm skinny, and I've got dyslexia. Other than that, I'm doing great. So I was not born with good cards. And that's how life really turns out. It's how you learn to play your cards. Now, some people have been given bad cards and they play them well. And then some people were given good cards and play them bad. And then some people were given medium cards and play them medium. It's how you learn how to play your cards. And I was an underdog. Many people, only 32% of Americans currently graduate a four-year college. So that means that 68% of Americans are walking around without a four-year college degree. Now, college is today what high school was 50 years ago. It's right about almost a prerequisite. So 68% of the people in America could lay claim very comfortably to being an underdog. They didn't go to a fancy school. They didn't often come from fancy homes. And so it's up to those 68% to turn toward the possibility, not the victimhood. Now, too many, Paula, I don't want to lie to you. I have a greater respect for truth than I do making people feel good. Far, 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 far too many young people in this country, particularly our minority friends, have fallen into a trap, like a quicksand trap of victimhood. And this is a terrible, terrible thing for them, for their families, for their children, and for their society and their country. So we must give them opportunity to learn, to see the possibility, and to question the nonsense that they've been sold and taught by these hustlers of victimhood. That's what they are. They're hustlers. They're con artists. They're victimhood con artists. And of course, they get a lot of success from their poison that they're selling. They get to elected office, giving out free things to people is a good way to get people to vote for you, right? So we must try to turn away. I was an underdog. It can be done. Now, I'm going to share something with the audience, and I would ask them, this is the second thing I want to ask them to write down. The first thing I asked them to write down is profits are better than wages. The second thing I'm going to ask them to write down is that your journey is your responsibility. It's not going to be, life is difficult. Write that down. Life is difficult. Life is difficult if you're gay or straight, black or white, young or old, fat or thin, tall or short. It is difficult. And dealing with the difficulties of life is part of the mature development of a human being. And it can be done, it must be done, and you can do it. Now, what I would like them to write down is this. Paula, I'm not very bright, but I am above average at watching what bright people do. And that's been damn helpful. Now, here's another secret. I'm even better at watching what dopey people do. And that's been even more helpful. So, learn to observe the world. Observe.
Observe.
Watch the successful. Watch the unsuccessful. Watch the con artists. Watch the ethical people. Watch what they do, how they think, what they read. I have a fun saying, if you have 4 broke friends, you're going to be the 5th.
Oh,
Who do you hang around?
you hang around with.
Listening to? What are you reading?
Yeah.
What kind of music are you listening to? What kind of podcasts are you listening to? What kind of books are you reading?
Yeah. feeding yourself information and surroundings. That is so true, Michael. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. And Michael, I'd love to talk a bit about, you're the founder many years ago of Boundless Media,
Yep.
which has been a huge success. It does
Yep.
so much for people.
Yep.
Share with the audiences.
Sure. Boundless Media USA is a branding and PR firm, and it's really rooted in storytelling. There's an old adage that says that facts tell, but stories sell. And everybody listening to this has a story, whether they own a business, whether they're a ballerina, whether they're a pizza chef, they all have a story. And how can we help them tell their story in a way that will get them the appropriate attention, the appropriate visibility and credibility they need to succeed? So Boundless Media is now in its 40th year, and I think it's done some awfully good work for a lot of people.
Yeah, that is so amazing. And so anyone that's an entrepreneur or just wanting to get their brand out there.
BoundlessMediaUSA.com. BoundlessMediaUSA.com. It's a great site. It's a lot of information about storytelling and the power of storytelling. You know, the key to marketing is not to be seen. The key to marketing is to be remembered. And so anyway, I hope Boundless can be of some help. I hope Michael Levine Consulting can be of some help. And I hope some of this conversation can be of some help.
Yeah.
And if you're finding some of the words here today a bit challenging, that's fantastic. I am trying to challenge you. I'm trying to say, if you're stuck, you can do better.
Yeah, challenges trigger growth, don't they?
Can be, right. In the end, people respect wisdom, but obey pain.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I remember all the years working with my goal was I'm gonna own this restaurant one day. And that just got me through the challenges.
yeah. And by the way, you know, people who want to talk about the difficulties of the day don't remember the difficulties of the past. Women 40, 50 years ago didn't have the opportunities that they do today.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of opportunities have come forward.
Yes.
Now, I do think that, again, I challenge anyone listening to this, get a mentor. Someone older, someone who has no emotional relationship with you, who doesn't want anything, doesn't need anything. Generally speaking, parents are not good mentors. Friends are not good mentors. People who will tell you the unvarnished truth in an encouraging but honest way are good mentors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. And that can do so much in helping you with challenges and a perspective, because it's not coming from someone you're emotionally involved with.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great advice.
Thank you.
And, you know, you have made a difference in the lives of so many people.
Well, thank you very much, Paula. So have you, and I
Oh.
appreciate your kind words. I hope this message is of some minor value to the people who have the opportunity to watch it. I hope you can share it in a way that is of some value, and I look forward to hearing from some of the people that watch this, and I'll be most excited.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. We have about 2 minutes left in the show. Michael,
Yes.
What last message do you want to leave with everyone today?
That, well, maybe this final message will be a parenting message. I'm not a parent. I'm a twice divorced man with no children. but I think I have a parenting challenge for our parental friends. I have seen a change in parenthood in America in the last 30, 40 years, and I'm deeply concerned about it. This process of overparenting. I see parents today that spend more time with their child in a week than my parents spent with me in a year. This overparenting, attending every practice, treating their child like they're the center of the universe, the participation trophies, all of this hiding the difficulties of life's inevitable challenges from children may sound loving, but in the end, it's a horrible, horrible disadvantage that you're giving to your wonderful children. That doesn't mean they shouldn't be loved or cared about. And that doesn't mean you can't ever go to a football or soccer practice. But if you're going to every rehearsal, every practice, everything, driving from, you got to let your kids figure stuff out for themselves and suffer the consequences. You know, if a child forgets their lunch at school, right? 99% of the mothers in America will run that new lunch back down to their school right away because they don't want to go without a lunch. Well, guess what? I don't want them to go without a lunch either, but they may have to learn not to forget their lunch again. See, that's how life works. And I know that sounds harsh to some, but the question is not whether my words are harsh. The question is whether they're true. And this overparenting is deeply concerning. Let's give young people the dignity, the respect, the honor of making their own mistakes and paying the consequences for some of them. Try to keep them limited if we can, and there we are.
Yeah, and loving them
And don't give in to the soft bigotry of low expectations. Don't do it. There is a soft bigotry of low expectations, and I don't want to participate in it. I want to say, let's dream big.
Here's to support and love and caring and
big dreams.
And big
you
dreams.
You can do it. You're great. If you're gonna have to work your tail off.
Thank you so much, Michael. This has been so great.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Love, hugs, and blessings, everyone.
Much love. Bye.
Bye.